set up yet? Okay. Do a mic check.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Oh, lost it. What's the deal? Hold on, buddy. There we go. Check 1 2.
Troy says it sounds good.
Okay. I'm just behind for some reason. I don't know why, man.
Ready, sir?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we got the crew, Sam Bacon.
You want to go this way?
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with this one and work our way up.
Okay, you tell me how you want to, what order.
We'll go Division 4 select and just work our way up.
Okay, Division 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep. Ready?
Okay.
Well, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 14 edition of high school football here in the state of Louisiana. It is semifinal week, ladies and gentlemen. If you're still standing as we head into the semifinal weeks, congratulations on an outstanding season. The job is not done yet, Gary.
No, we got some more work to be done.
Gary, tickets will be punched to the big dance this week. You're going to hear it on the PA announcer. He's going to play the song. It's going to say, "Walking to New Orleans."
That's right. And I'm ready to
Who's going to be
go.
walking to New Orleans after 4 quarters of football?
May take overtime. Can't never
You
tell.
never know with bonus time,
Yeah.
Gary. The best time of the year is upon us.
You're right. Look, guys, we started this 14 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago.
Slide
You
your
know, about
Anybody else
you know.
not have audio? Best time of the year. Oh, we got audio.
we got audio there.
Slide your chair out. Go ahead.
Okay, this
I got
way.
it. I got it. Go ahead. You
Okay.
finish talking.
Okay, we got. You know, we started this a long time ago, about 13 weeks ago, give or take, 14 weeks. And you know what? It seems like it was only yesterday that we were just starting, and now we're in the semifinals, getting ready to see who's going to punch their ticket to go to the Dome.
Gary, you got some familiar faces that are left in these brackets, and you got some unfamiliar names that you just look at and it's like, man, it's good to see this team back.
Right.
Or, man,
Where did they come from?
where did they come from? Or, wow, first ever trip.
Let me tell you something. We talked whenever they came out with this format as far as for the playoffs. We said this. We're going to have some teams that are going to be eliminated before the the playoffs. Before the finals. And they got some that are going to just be regulars in there. But we predicted a few upsets, and we got a few.
Gary, how is your semifinals looking? Because we had our beginning of the playoff bracket show. So we look at some of these matchups, and you go back to yourself and you think, all right, we predicted what we thought was going to happen, but boy, was we wrong.
You're right. I mean, I'm looking like this is my predictions that we had, and I'm gonna tell you right now that can go in the trash can.
So we did this the day the brackets came out, correct?
Correct. We did
We
that.
had our show. We said, okay, here's our semifinal state championship picks. I'm going to go ahead and look at mine. Right now, wrong and wrong. Definitely wrong. Both of these two teams, holy cow, they're in the
Right.
semis. Yes, we're here. We got a good one. Gary, we actually got us one.
Really?
That we projected right. And we got us another one we projected right. We got us another one we projected right. We didn't project this one right, my friends. Our friends are sitting at home.
Yeah.
And we projected this one right, and this one right here did not project right.
Oh, yeah.
So it was hit and miss. We were close, but not that close.
We were close on a few, and you know, a few of the ones that we missed, it's because they're playing some good ball. You know, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with us because we do this out of fun. But, man, I'm just so excited to see some of these teams actually getting a chance to play for that right. It's unbelievable.
Gary, you want to be playing your best football late.
Right.
You could peak early in the season, but what does that matter if you're flashy early and you don't finish late?
Correct. I mean, correct on that. There's no matter what we say or do, if you're not gelling at the right time, you know, you can be the best team in the state, but if you have a hiccup late in the season or in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, you're not there. You know, that's pure D. That's why you want to gel at the end of the season and everything hitting on all cylinders.
Gary, you don't really have the physical practices, the long practices here this late into the season. It's more on, let's put helmets on, let's make sure our technique's good, let's make sure the game plan is executed when you get this late into the season.
Correct.
What's got to happen on Friday night for these teams to execute and punch their ticket?
Okay, late in the season at this time of the year, physicality is already established. The physicality is already there. So you
don't want to get anybody hurt.
You don't want to get anybody hurt, so your intensity has to be toned down, but yet your game plan has to be implemented. You got to know your opponent, and we say it a long time. You got to know your opponent frontwards and backwards.
Film study is so important.
So important.
That little edge that could give you the over the hump to get into the dome.
Correct. I mean, and that's what it's all about. And these teams that are in these semifinals, you know, I wish them nothing but the best, but these are the ones that are fundamentally sound, and they have their horses, but they have a good core team. And notice what I said, a team.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. That's a good core team. You can have not everybody's going to have a Trey Holly, and we're going to talk about him later. But the thing about it is that you got to have a supporting cast around him. You can't just have one guy. You got to have a group.
Yeah, because what happens when they put 10 in the box on you?
Correct. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You got that. So you got to be able to open it up and do whatever. But you got to have a good team. Like I said, the old saying, there's no I in team. It has to be something together. And these guys right here have put it together, and they're gelling at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations to all the coaches and players that are still playing football here in week 14. You earned your right to be playing.
Right,
today.
most definitely. You earned your right 100%. There's nobody can take anything away from you. You deserved it. Period.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to say we are live from Mr. Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts building here in Opelousas, Louisiana. So if you don't know where we're based from, it's Opelousas, Gary.
That's right.
You graduated from Port Barry. I graduated from Port Barry. The show's done in Opelousas.
Right.
So we got a lot of locals around us, Gary,
Yep.
that are still fighting. And we may be well represented in New Orleans next week.
There's a good possibility. We got a chance to have over 50% of the games covered with somebody from Acadiana.
We are guaranteed one right now.
Right.
So out of 8 state championship brackets, we already have one local team that will be playing at the Superdome next week. How did that happen? We have a rematch.
We have a rematch.
We
definitely.
have a rematch. It's an I-10 rematch. And boy,
it was good last time.
It was good last time, and I think it's bad blood brewing this time.
Right.
Both teams.
It's going to be interesting.
Both teams going to get after it. LCA or Turtles will represent us next week.
And let me tell you something. If this game coming up is exciting as the one that they played last time, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be a great game.
Correct. You also have St. Thomas More.
Right.
It could be an all Lafayette showdown in the Dome if they take care of business.
Correct.
Notre Dame got a tough one. They got to go down to St. Charles.
Right.
It's not an easy place to play.
Defending champs?
Defending champs, correct. Karen Crow got a big one Friday night at the Crow Dome. Can they get back to the title?
Right. Brother Martin, they have bad taste in their mouth to give Brother Martin, last year. Their ace quarterback, their star quarterback, got hurt in that game. We were there. We actually watched it, and man, that was so disappointing to see them have that situation. But boy, man, can you imagine? I bet the Crow Dome will be rocking.
Yes, indeed, my friend. You take a look at some other matchups right there in Baton Rouge. ULAP's playing, Dunham's playing, so somebody from Baton Rouge is getting in. And you got Catholic of BR with a date with J.T. Curtis's crew.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, that game there is going to be unbelievable.
We take a look at it. Zachary is your defending state champs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a huge win with Ruston this week.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, Gary. That's a big time football game right there.
That one right there is going to be, I'll be honest with you, that may be the state championship. I mean, I don't mean to say anything about anybody else, but man, you have a team like Ruston who they were on our watch list all year.
They're destined to get there, but before they can get there,
they got to go through Zachary.
Coach Brew and the Broncos ain't going to make it easy.
Right.
And then you take a look at the bottom of that bracket.
Right. You got
defending state champs are still hanging around.
That's what I'm saying. They're gelling at the right time. They're coming in. They are hungry for a repeat.
Gary, they did not win their district, but all their district did was set them up to make a run into the playoffs.
Correct.
You know Westgate made the jump up from 4A to 5A this year. And they have not missed a beat once they got into this playoff bracket.
Now, they have a tough opponent. They have a quiet opponent that we've been talking about all year. And you know,
Destrehan escaped East St. John last year. Mm-hmm. You take a look at it now. Westgate, Destrehan. Can Westgate get back to the Dome and defend their title? That's going to be the key.
You got to look at it too.
That's another look.
You know,
that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I'm saying. You got to look at it too. I mean, it's man. This is going to be one of the most exciting weekends that we've ever talked about because man, the competition and the balance is so strong. And you know, that's what we talked about when they came out with this new system. There's not going to be a lot of blowouts. There's going to be some very competitive games, and there have been.
And some great matchups.
Oh my God, so far. Before. Yes, matchups that you've never seen before.
Also, Iowa is a local for us right there down in Lake Charles, Gary. They are still in the big title picture, and this is their first ever trip to the semis.
Right.
Could you imagine that community if they get to the Dome?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. We have a lot of, I call it under the lights friends that are still out there, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm just so excited to have a lot of the teams that we covered, a lot of the teams that we have talked about all year that are still in the hunt, and they still got a good shot to go in the Dome.
Correct. And one last local team, ladies and gentlemen. The Vermilion Catholic Screaming Eagles.
Screaming Eagles, look out.
Gary, if I told you, I believe this is correct, that they only given up 30 points the entire football season. Holy cow, brother.
Jordy, we talked about it. They're up to over 30 quarters that they've held their opponent scoreless. And you know, it's like, oh my God, how can this happen? I mean, we've covered them, and we've watched them, and we've kept track of them, and they'll give up 6 points here, 7 points here, whatever. But that's in the whole game. So they've given up a touchdown, basically a couple times, but it's over a period of 4 games. So it's like, oh my God, you know, we were talking at one time, wasn't it 22 out of 24 quarters or something, or 20, something like that, that they held their opponent scoreless. And I'm like, in high school.
Yeah, because you have blowouts. JV can give up touchdowns, but this football team, we looked at them back at the Jamboree.
Right.
We covered their Jamboree down there at Westminster.
Right, sure did.
We said it. We said it then, and we're saying it now. That looks like a state championship caliber football team at the Jamboree. Well, guess what, Gary? They're one game away from getting there.
They're one game away, and boy, I tell you what, they have a defense that is geared up. You know the old saying, you know, Offense wins games. Defense wins championships. Their defense is clicking right now, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. This is going to be a very interesting ball game for them.
It's going to be interesting because you got one of the state's top backs coming into Screaming Eagle Stadium, and we know how good the running back from St. Martin's is.
Right.
So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that matchup and see what happens. St. Martin's also first trip to the semis.
That's what I'm saying.
You know they're playing with emotion.
You have teams that have never been there, some that have been there. But, I mean, when you get a team that's never been this far, I mean, they're on cloud nine. They're up here. You just got to keep that emotion in check, and hopefully, St. Martin's can do that. But because Screaming Eagles, I'm going to tell you, VC, it's business as usual right now. They've been having that same mindset all year round. Let's do it. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to be one of the best games that we watched.
Yes, indeed, my friend. I want to say shout out to AB Films down there in Abbeville with Vermilion Catholic. Check it out, Gary.
Hey,
representing.
That's it.
Representing their brand on the show tonight. AB Films, tell your story. Boy, they do some outstanding work with their videography.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys over there.
Great friends of us. So
showing some love with
most definitely.
representing them tonight on the show. Also want to say welcome to the UTL family. Brand new helmet on display tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We want to say thank you to the broadcast team down there at St. Paul's. Gary, our first helmet from that side of the state, and it won't be our last.
No.
So thank you so much, St. Paul's Wolves. Brand new helmet on display tonight.
Right. And they brought it to us. They actually were passing through for the playoffs, and they actually brought it to you. They stopped and gave it to you, and they were very excited about it. And I want to say thank you guys. And we are still wanting to get more. We want to fill up this entire wall. My goal is to have this entire wall full. We're going to take those pictures down, and we're going to move them around. And we're going to have this is going to be our under the lights section, and it's going to be wall from ceiling to floor shelves with helmets. That's my goal.
Yes, indeed, my friend. More shelves will be added for next season.
Yeah, we're going to have some more.
Expecting more helmets to come in for 2023 season. Can't thank y'all enough for trusting us for displaying your football team week in and week out and talking high school football about your program and about your kids.
Yeah, the more, we want to get involved. We've been talking about everybody that we know of, and we've been talking about every school that, that we can, that we think is got a shot. And, there's some teams out there that, we're still waiting on their helmets and stuff like that. And like I said, we can't thank you guys enough for everything that you do. I don't know if I told you, I talked to a guy from Destrehan. He's supposed to be working on getting me a helmet.
Wow, Gary.
How many?
45.
45?
45 different teams.
And we got, like I said, 45 different helmets, and we love all of you guys. Remember, it's for the kids, it's for high school sports. That's what it's all about. But we love talking about them, and that's the main thing. The more we can get, the more we can actually promote high school sports in your area.
Gary Swallow, I guess at this time, it's time to talk about the season in all entirety. Okay?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Friday night last week, our last football game of the season. So, 2022 football season, outstanding.
Right.
So, congratulations to the team.
Right.
24 games covered this year.
Right. 24 games that we covered
across the state.
And like I said, when we travel, the thing about it is people talk about, oh, you're doing this. Yeah, you get off work at 4 o'clock, and we're hitting the road right after, and we're going to wherever. Yes. And we've covered a lot of games, and some I was able to go to, some on Thursday nights I can't go because of my work. But Jordy was covering it by itself, and unfortunately last week I was sick. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. This is something that we do because we love high school football. We love high school sports, and we can't ask anything more than giving us a chance to go out there and do it. And we want to thank every one of the schools that has said yes, y'all come down. I mean, I can't say thank you enough. We do this because we want to help you promote your program, and we've covered a lot of different people.
We branched out different places this year. Touchdown in Lake Charles for the first time this year. Touchdown in Alexandria twice this year. Yeah. Moving along, checking off new boxes.
Right.
I mean, Iowa was a new place for us.
Right.
You look at Peabody, you look at Bolton. That's all new places for us. The list goes on. And 2023, we're looking to
expand that. Yeah, we're trying to get more.
Go places we've never been before. Wherever.
Right. And
I owe some teams some visits next year.
Right. And the thing about it is, too, is that, we're a phone call away. Or a text message away or whatever. We will do our best to fit you in depending on, our schedule. And that's why we want you guys to get with us early. The earlier you get with us, the easier it is to put people on a calendar. And that's the thing that people don't understand, is that once we commit, we're committed. Yeah. And that's the hardest part. Once we commit, we're committed.
Yeah. So 2022 season has come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. Could not get a game this Friday. Completely understand.
Right.
When you get this late into the season, your choices are numbered down.
Right.
A lot of teams are already being covered.
Right. They have their own system. Thing like that.
A lot of teams want as many people as they can to come and get in the stadium.
Right.
Hey, you pack that thing out. You send your team to the dome. We understand completely.
Right.
And hands are tied whenever somebody already has first dibs on the game streaming.
Correct.
So guess what, Mr. Swallow? No hard feelings. No. We understand. And next season, looking forward to another great year.
Oh, most definitely. And I'm going to tell you, the people that have been watching us and following us, all we can say is thank you for your support.
Yes, indeed, my friend. We wish everyone the best of luck. The teams that we did reach out to, we wish them the best of luck this weekend. And we can't wait to see what's in store at the recap show Friday nights.
Correct.
Also want to throw in there, Mr. Swallow, all 8 state championship games next week we get to watch.
Yes, we sure do. We get to watch them in person because we will be at the Superdome watching Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We will be watching all 8 of these games, and I am so excited.
It's like a tradition.
Yes.
We don't miss a year. We even went down to Natchitoches when we had it there.
Last year was hard. We missed one game
because it was at
UL. And all the other games we watched. We went to Tulane, and then we went to the Dome. And, I understand that where they were doing, but the best thing that they did was the public select and non-select got together, and they created everything to where it's in one venue at the New Orleans Superdome, because every high school student in the state of Louisiana has one goal when that season starts, and that is to get to the Dome. And why take that away from somebody?
Yeah, they got a couple of these faces that has never played in the Dome.
That's what I'm saying.
That has a shot Friday night.
They do.
Can't go Thursday, Friday, got to work, but be there Saturday. Come say hello.
Most definitely. Who's that, Troy?
Miss Tina.
Miss Tina, yeah.
No, that's Troy. Miss Tina, hello again. We talked to Miss Tina at the state championship game when Pillsbury played Manny in softball.
Correct.
She was taking photos.
Yes, she sure was. She was taking photos.
Hello, Miss Tina.
Come and visit us again. We'd love to see you and visit with you. Troy, we hope to see you out there. But yeah, the more we get involved with this, the more friends we make, the people that we see, and I'm gonna tell you, that makes my life so much. I put so much joy in my life just going to see these guys and see, making friends with everybody, coaches, players, everybody involved. It's nothing like it.
Yeah. Landon says y'all should get Iowa Friday. We did not get approval for Iowa game Friday, Mr. Landon. So.
Sorry. I mean, you got to get approval from both sides.
That's correct. So, but buy a ticket and go watch that game in person.
I would. No, that's going to be a good game.
Iowa, North Dakota, 2 teams' first trip to the semis, and 1 team's first trip to the Dome. So you got to think about that.
It's going to be interesting, Jordan. We got some interesting ball games here, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it's beautiful.
And you talked about the friends we've made over these last few years. Also had my surgery last week.
Right.
And the amount of support that these fans reached out was heartwarming for sure.
Well, and the thing about it is that we were all really concerned because of the situation. Anytime you're dealing with appendicitis and all that, until they get in there, they don't know how bad it was. And it's fortunately, and I'm glad that you were able to recover as fast as you did.
Mr. Redmond Seals, we're not going to be able to get a Union Parish A-Meet game. So nobody's reached out to us, and we're not at that level to get that football game yet.
Yeah, we'd love to. That would be a great game to call.
Yes, indeed.
But unfortunately, we're not able to do that.
How about some headlines from last week, Mr. Swallow?
Yes. What we got?
You talk about Ruston. They're on a collision course. They are destined to get to the Dome. But it won't be easy.
No,
we know that.
They got a good opponent this week.
But first time since 1999 that Ruston is back in the semis.
Oh, wow.
It's been that long.
I didn't realize that. I really didn't. That's 23 years?
It's good.
22?
It's a good wait. And you know that community has been reeling for a season like this.
Yes. That is amazing to, see them back in the hunt and, 1 game away.
Yes, my friend. How about LCA? Huge second half. They dropped 70 points on undefeated De La Salle last week.
I know.
In New Orleans.
Right.
Juwan Johnson went crazy. 600 total yards, 8 touchdowns for the number 1 athlete himself, Juwan Johnson. Holy cow, what a football player.
But wasn't this game kind of close? And then all of a sudden, boom.
LCA was losing whenever I left Basile. I got the King's truck stop, get something to eat. I turned that game on, and they got 70 points on the board.
Talk about flick a switch.
And also, LCA rose into their 6th straight semifinal appearance. They're looking for their 6th straight trip to the state title game.
Right.
That program, they've made the jump from Division 4 to 3, and now they made the jump from Division. It would have been 4A.
Right.
But they call it 2.
2A.
Yeah, Division 2.
Division 2. It's
Yes.
Division 2. Yeah. That's a mixture of, I think, 3 and 4A or is it something like that.
Something like that. But they've made a jump.
All right, they've gone up.
Another jump, and now look at them.
But look at
they get their rematch.
Look at the
6 straight.
Right. Look at the. I mean, last year they were looking at a 5-peat, and they come up short.
Yep, that was a good St. Charles football team.
Yeah, good St. Charles football team that beat them. But this year, and we thought they might be rebuilding. I won't lie to you, Jordy. I said I think they were going to be rebuilding, and Holden reminds me of that every time he gets it. Of me thinking that they were going to be rebuilding a little bit. They haven't rebuilt. They've reloaded, and they're looking good. They got a good shot, but they're playing a good Turlings football team.
The I-10 rematch.
That's it. That's going to be.
Everybody's been waiting on this rematch since the 4th and 10 Hail Mary was thrown.
Correct. I mean, I hate to say this, can't let anybody get behind you. But guess what? It happened. Will it happen again? I doubt it very seriously, because I think that they've learned their lesson, and look out. But I think this is going to be one of the best ball games of the weekend.
Yes, indeed. You want points? I think you're going to get points
them,
Friday
yes.
night. All right, coaching carousel has hit big so far.
Yeah.
I know there's a bunch more. This is the ones that I have gathered up so
Right.
far.
But there's still a lot of them that are still on the fence. But I mean, I think there's going to be some monkey wrenches thrown.
You're going to see a lot of new faces in new homes. You're going to see a lot of new teams under new leadership in 2023.
Correct.
We start off, Andy Boone
Right.
steps down as head football coach at Avoyelles.
That's
Huge
amazing.
headlines there. The man turned that program around from scratch. He won the first ever district title. He lost out in the semis last year. He is gone from Avoyelles. Take a look at Coach Chris Towery. He steps down at Sulphur High School.
Correct.
Where will he go next? Somebody's going to get a good one.
These guys, these people are proven, leaders and successful football coaches. Oh my God! Somebody's going to be coming up with like I say, a diamond in the rough. Look out.
Yes, indeed. You got jobs open already. We talked about it. Avoyelles, Sulphur. That's 2 jobs open, and then the Jennings job is also open. Coach retired
He's
this
retired.
year.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, where's he at? Yes, Mr. Brady and Wilson, or Guru, made the announcement that St. Martin's head football coach will step down at the end of the year.
Oh wow.
Early in the chat. Troy
So-
saying St. James is going to need a new coach.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
So we got a lot of people that are going to be leaving or whatever, and they're going to be needing some new leadership.
they got some hot jobs available too, where those teams are ready to make a run for a title, and you can be blessed with the roster you get.
You're right.
And you look at Pickering's needs a new coach.
Correct.
Vinton, Menard,
Right.
Como, and also Red River.
Red River. Yes, I heard about
That's-
that one. That was
That's a
shocking.
good landing spot
Yeah.
for a coach over there at Red River.
Red River's got some talent over there
Yes.
on that ball club. Yes.
So the coaching carousel has begun. It should be in a wild off season to see where these coaches go
Right.
and where these coaches land. So that is what we have right now. Holy Cross is open
Correct.
down there on the side where we don't normally cover because they have great coverage there
Yeah.
from Crescent City
Right.
Sports. But Mr. Brady bringing it to our attention that Holy Cross job is also open.
Right. The one thing that you see is that a lot of coaches, they've been there for so long, a lot of them, and then, they just want to either a bigger challenge or they just retire. I mean, some people are just, they've been doing it for so long, they just, Coach at Jennings. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, he's an icon up there. And
Somebody's blessed
Yeah, somebody's
to
going to be
get that
blessed
job.
with. Somebody's going to be blessed with that job because he's done it the right way. He's done it the right way.
All right, we talk about Manny High School for a second.
Okay.
They score 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter to head to their 7th straight semifinals.
Correct.
Coach Curtis, he's got that team a big standard where they're from.
Well, I mean, I remember Manny from years ago. We, Port Barry, where our heart and soul is. We used to play them regularly, and that was back in the day when we were competitive with them, and they would beat us sometimes. We'd beat them sometimes. I remember, they have set the standard of quality up there, and they have not, faltered in any way. They're solid.
Congratulations to Coach Curtis, year in and year out. He has his football team ready to play.
Most definitely, most definitely.
How about Jalen Williams from Mangum High School? We know how good he is of a running back, Gary.
Yep.
He only played the first half against Arcadia last week in their route of the quarterfinal win. Mr. Jalen went 23 carries, 172 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he had 3 two-point conversions in that contest. For a reminder, he only played the first half. He got hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt. He got knocked out of that game. I'm not sure what the status is going into the Homer game, but they're going to need him.
Oh, most
Because
definitely.
That Homer defense is damn good.
Right. The thing that we got to first thing we got to do is pray that he's okay.
Correct.
Make sure, when you get out and there's an injury involved, hopefully it's just a bruise and something. He's not banged up. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in there because they are going to need him against Homer.
Yes.
They are definitely going to need him. But, all I can say is that young man is a special player.
Yes, indeed, my friend. How about another special player? Number 3 from Haynesville.
Yeah.
He had 4 touchdowns the other night. 2 of them were from on the ground. 1 of them was a pick 6, and 1 of them was a punt return for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That young man put the team on his back and punched their ticket to the semifinals.
It was amazing.
There, it was 7-0 midway through the third quarter, and then number 3 struck. He struck again, and he struck again, and it was 28-0 before you can blink.
Right, yeah, unbelievable. Sometimes when
4
things
touchdown night in 3 different ways.
Right, but the thing about it is that you can have a competitive ball game, and we've seen this all in our lifetime, where you have had a defensive struggle for 3 quarters, then all of a sudden it's like somebody throws gas on a fire and it explodes, and that's what happened. He went crazy, and I'm gonna tell you, when you do it in all aspects, whether it was a pick 6, whether it was a punt return, and on the ground, you have all of these things that happen, and it's just like, okay, he was the spark, and he was also the igniter, the gasoline. It was all thrown on him, and he just took it and went. So congratulations to that young man.
It ain't often that Ronald Young doesn't have a good game.
You're right. That's when I hate to say it this way, when you have a superstar and it seems like they're controlling him. A superstar has all he needs is a little bit of a boost.
We saw him put the game on ice against Abbeville in round 2 of the playoffs.
He sure did.
He didn't have a huge night, but when the game was on the line and it mattered the most,
he stepped up.
The senior running back.
He stepped up for it, he did what he had to do. But like I said, superstars they just need that little opening and then look out.
Yes, indeed. How about the 13 seed is the highest ranked team remaining in the playoffs? Brother Martin riding that Cinderella road all the way to the semis, and they are the highest ranked team remaining. If I said you had a 13 seed sitting in the semifinals back when the brackets came out, a lot of people wouldn't have took my bluff.
No. Well, I mean, and they did what they had to do. And Brother Martin is always a respectful team, always a competitive team. And this is going to be, like I said, the Crow Dome's going to be rocking, this weekend.
3 number 1 ranked teams in the playoff brackets went down in the quarterfinals.
3? Oh, wow.
So 3 last week went down. We saw Karen Crow upset Warren Easton.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I saw that.
Sent huge shockwaves across the state of Louisiana.
It did.
We saw Kentwood get taken down by Oak Grove.
Right.
And then
that shocked me.
And we also saw the number 1 ranked team from, where am I going with this?
Which one?
I wrote it down earlier. And it was Newman.
Oh, yeah, Newman.
ULAB, too much defense in that contest.
Yeah, Newman.
So 3 number 1 ranked teams seed their season in the quarters.
Newman had a good ball club. They had a great superstar in Arch Manning. But when you went against a stout defense like they did, I mean, I'm sorry, it was like, okay, we're good, but they're better. Their defense was better that night,
And surprisingly so, ULAB got college talent all over the field on defense.
ULAB, you can say, well, these lab schools, and
isn't the Moses kid the former brother of the Alabama standout?
I think so. But the thing about it is, okay, you look at these lab schools, these Southern Lab, as well as ULAB. Southern Lab was good this year. They played very well, good ball.
Yeah, they won state last year.
Yeah, and
ULAB won state last year too.
But and they're going after a repeat. They're trying to repeat. So I mean, these lab schools got a lot of talent, but they also got a lot of knowledge with these coaches. I mean, I'm sorry, you got high school coaches that can interact with college coaches, and I'm sure they do. I mean, I can't say for sure, but come on. If I was a high school coach and I was on the same campus as Louisiana State University, you don't think Brian Kelly would be somebody that I would talk to and say hi? Come on.
So Braden brought it to our attention. U-High's longest semifinal streak in state right now at 12 straight in a row.
Really? Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Gary, did you see the video? Tradition meets tradition. Last Friday night with the game of the entire year when Catholic BR met up with Edna Carr.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Gary, what a moment. And it was just a jaw-dropping thing to see somebody post that video. Edna Carr doing a traditional walkout theme. A huge intimidation factor for some, not all.
Mm-hmm.
And in Catholic BR, we watched them at Tulane last year. They walk out arm in arm. They go, and they just stood there arm in arm all the way across the field and just stood there and said, "We're not intimidated. We're ready."
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Coach David Semino at Catholic of Baton Rouge, that man is going to win a lot of state championships while he's over there.
Right. I mean, he's got the talent, and he's also got the drive and the knowledge. And he's, like I said, he's not intimidated. He'll go anywhere and play anybody.
Correct.
And that's one of the things. Now, you got to understand, Edna Carr, I'm going to tell you, between you and me, to me, Edna Carr is one of the best teams that I've seen in a long time as far as tradition. But they moved up. They're fighting a bigger stick now. And, guess what? I think they're going to still be around, but it's going to be a little bit harder from now on.
Catholic BR and John Curtis this Friday night. JT Curtis, it's going to be a while. I'm just making a statement here. I don't know if this is true because John Curtis could definitely go win that football game.
Right.
It's going to be a while before Curtis gets another title as long as Catholic BR is around. That's what I'm saying. What you think about that statement?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
And they haven't won one in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Catholic BR, that's the best team in the state, hands down.
Right. When you're dealing with, the tradition, and I'm going to tell you, John T. Curtis has tradition that dates back. How many state championships have they won, Jordy? I mean,
27.
They have tradition, and even when they were down, they were still competitive.
Did you see the numbers that were posted from Louisiana high school football page? They posted the numbers that are still in the bracket of enrollment.
26.
No, that's how many. You seen? They only have what? 300 something.
Oh yeah, no, their number of students.
They're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing up. That's tremendous.
But
going against a Catholic BR team with
right.
thousands of students.
But the thing about it is, Jordy, is that
we know.
They have the people that are there for that position. In other words, they have kids that are coming up there that have been playing football, and they're there to play football. They're there to do it. So they got these guys that they don't have to really train as far as the game. They just have to polish them up, if you can understand what I mean by that.
Well, hats off to them for playing up.
Oh, most definitely.
They could just sit there and dominate their division.
Back in the day, they were AA, okay? We used to laugh about this. You had the AA school of John Curtis that was playing in 4A. You had Evangel, that was a double A school, playing in 5A, you know, and all that. And this is back in the days, you know, and all this other stuff. Now, with the way that they have things set up now, your competition is going to be where it needs to be. I'm going to tell you, I was doubtful. I didn't know. I like this.
Yeah,
I like the way they got it.
It's got some really, really good things.
No, they
some
still
really bad things.
Yeah, they still got some things they need to tweak.
But I like
it so far.
I like the matchups.
Yeah, I like the matchups so far. I really do.
I'm going to like the state championship games, too.
Most definitely.
How about a late touchdown? Seals the deal and sends Westgate back to the semifinals. How about that football team, Gary? We looked at them last year. They got hot in the playoffs. They got hot in the playoffs again. How far can they go?
One more week.
We'll see.
One more week, hopefully.
It's going to be tough. They got to go down to Destrehan, if I'm not mistaken, huh?
Yeah, Destrehan is good. We talked about Destrehan. Destrehan is a quiet, unbeaten. You know, one of my good friends lives in Destrehan, and he told me flat out, he says, yep, he says, they're playing some good ball. His son was actually on the team when Acadiana played Destrehan years ago in the Dome. Acadiana won, but I mean, he was on that team.
8-3.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, you have a tradition in Destrehan that is being built, but they're a team that's you're gonna be around seeing and hearing about for a while. I think because they're young, they have some talent that are senior oriented, but they still got a good young base that's coming up. So look out.
Yeah, you talk about a team that plays all three phases of the game.
Correct.
They're good.
You're right.
Just got word before we went live for a lot of football fans around the state that just like to be a football junkie on Fridays and sit there and watch streams. VSN will stream 4 games Friday nights. So if you are subscribed to VSN, you have the opportunity to watch one of the 4, or if you got 4 iPads or 4 cell phones, you can watch all 4 of them babies.
Right.
They're going to do the Ascension Catholic and Ouachita Christian game.
Right.
They're going to do the Lutcher and West Feliciana game. They're going to do the St. Thomas More and E.D. White game. And the final one, I think they're doing ULAB and Dunham.
Right.
So 4 great matchups. Thanks to VSN for giving people the option to watch those games.
Right. High school football at its finest.
You can't be everywhere at once on a Friday night.
Correct.
I'm going to have an iPad wherever we go Friday night. We're debating on where we trying to go watch a football game. We got 2 locations down right now to go watch one of our locals.
Actually, there's 3. They got about 3 locations that we can actually go to. It's just which one?
Yeah, to watch one of our locals punch their ticket.
Yeah.
Not ULAB. Notre Dame and St. Charles was the last one.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes, we talked about Notre Dame earlier on the show.
Correct.
That one slipped my mind. But my friend, a lot that goes into week 14.
Right.
And you just look at it and you just think back and reflect on the season, and it's been a pretty good one.
Jordy, I'll tell you what, this has been one of the most enjoyable seasons that we've had. We've had such good support from our sponsors, of course, but also the fans that have been, calling us and talking to us and giving us such good feedback. There's no greater feeling, and I know you feel the same way, to whenever you have people that actually like what you do, and whenever we talk, I mean, because we work hard.
You got a full-time job. Right. I got a full-time job.
Yeah, we work hard in our regular lives. This is something that we do. It's for fun, and we enjoy doing it. But whenever we can, and I hate to say the word expose, but have these young people be seen, in this atmosphere and this with our players of the week and everything. Man, you talked about it whenever you last time you gave the player of the week, that guy with the big tight end. He was shocked. He was like, "Oh my God!" And he was just like, "Really?" And it was like, "Yeah, you deserve this, young man." And I mean, if we wouldn't have been there, that would have, we wouldn't have gotten all that recognition and stuff like that.
We'd have never known what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we do this for the kids, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I love working with kids. I mean, I'm a martial arts instructor. 90% of my students are kids, children, and that's from 4 to 11, 12. So just think about that. We do this because for the love of working with children, working with the high school sports, because we both love football. And
God, do we love high school football?
High school football, and then that's what it's about, showing everybody that these guys work hard.
I have not seen a year like this either, where it's been, hey, we're gonna have not to have bundle up for a semifinal matchup Friday.
Correct, I know.
Yeah. Wow, I mean, and then next week you're inside the dome, so dress comfortable. So through these playoffs, Gary, the only thing you've worn is a freaking hoodie.
Hoodie, yeah, that's right.
We went to many games over the last few years where it was miserable.
It was 30 degrees outside watching. I remember when we went watch in Wassman. We went to do that one, and then whenever we went watch Church Point, we were cold.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this ain't the weather that we're used to this time of the year watching high school football teams punch their ticket.
Well, don't take this wrong. I'm kind of glad because, don't take this the wrong way. When I can't feel my toes and my fingers, it's kind of bad.
Yeah. All right. 3 sponsors I would like to mention. I want to say thank you to Daryl's down there in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Since 1985, they have grown into a sit-down restaurant with a drive-through and full-service bar. They pride themselves on serving enticing po' boys that include surf and turf, Daryl's Special, and barbecue. All of their staff works hard to create an inviting and welcoming atmosphere. Come see why Daryl's in Lake Charles has the best po' boys in the state. They're located at 119 College Street. Thank you so much to Daryl's and all they've done this year for Under the Lights.
They've been great. We went whenever we went out there for the softball finals, and boy, that was
potentially
good.
Going back.
Yep.
Poberry got another good team.
Right. We might be able to go out there again, but we've passed through there a couple times, and I'm gonna tell you right now, well worth the trip to Lake Charles. Well worth it.
Another sponsor we want to say thank you to is the Crawfish House and Grill, located at 1214 South Union Street in Opelousas. Now under new ownership, come dine with them for some great Cajun hospitality and cuisine, now featuring happy hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7 p.m. So thank you so much to Crawfish House. Boy, we got to get over there soon.
Most definitely. I'm missing me some good food.
And also shout out to Coach Kip Dupachin, wherever you're watching tonight. Much love from myself and Mr. Gary Swallow for all you've done for us this season.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Most definitely. Couldn't have been here. Couldn't have done it without you, man. We appreciate everything.
So we take a look at these playoff brackets, my friend.
Yeah.
How about we start off?
Let's get it.
With Division 4 Select. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just picks that we think is going to happen. We might want somebody to win, but this is just what we think is going to happen.
Correct.
I mean, you look at it, we might pick against our locals tonight.
Well.
Got a few that you might pick against your locals. But you got to think that you're leaning heavy on some teams that you already penciled into the dome when the playoff brackets came out.
Correct.
So don't hate us if we ain't picked your team. We're not going to make you win or lose on Friday night.
Nope. That's why they play the game.
Correct. We start off with Division 4 Select for a trip to the Superdome next week. You got one more.
One more to do it.
And being home in the semifinals, what a huge advantage.
You're right. Big advantage for the home team. All they got to do now is put it all together and play a good ball game.
The road team, they're ready to go and, how you say that? Spoil the home party.
That's right.
And punch their ticket and celebrate all the way back home. Boy, what a bus ride that would be.
That would be so, I've been on both ends of this, riding back with some teams. And I'm going to tell you, when you win on something like that and you're coming home, that bus is rocking. You know, and whenever you go and it's after a loss, that bus is like I hate to say it's like a morgue. It's quiet. You don't hear anything. It's just. So, good luck to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Gary, what about that feeling on game day when you're this late into the season and you just see those charter buses or those school buses pass with the police escorts and the entire town following behind those buses? What a feeling inside to see something like that.
Your heart swells, man. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And it's just, and not because of fear. It's just so, you're so excited whenever you see something like that. And it's like, you know, and I'm going to give you an example. When Port Bear in 2002, 20 years ago, when Port Bear went to the Dome and won. Well, actually, when they went to the Dome in 1999 too, we used to have a saying: last person turn off the light because there's nobody left in town. And that's what it's about. When you see that, man, your heart just swells up with pride, and
Correct.
you know it's amazing.
Yep. All right, we start off with number 1 ranked team in the state of Louisiana, and rightfully so. They've earned their
They've
spot.
earned it, right?
Vermilion Catholic Screaming Eagles. They will welcome in St. Martin's Episcopal, the 4-seed, highly talented running back with St. Martin's. They have added fuel to their fire. Their coach stepping down at the end of the season.
Right.
An emotional ball club that has made their way into the semifinals for the first time. Boy, do you know they want to punch their ticket for the first time. When you punch your ticket for the first time, that's history.
You're right. It is, and
It's
I
a
understand.
tall task. They got to go against a really good Vermilion Catholic defense.
Right.
Gary, who wins this football game?
Well, I think it's gonna. The emotion can only go so far. I think at the beginning of the game, they're gonna be high as a kite, but they're playing against a Vermilion Catholic ball club that has been seasoned, tested and seasoned all year. I mean, their defense has just said, okay, you might be good, but guess what? When we covered them, I mean, it was amazing. I think Vermilion Catholic is going to be a little too strong defensively and offensively. Can you stop them? But their defense is going to step up, and I think VC is going to take it.
They're trying to get back to the Dome for the first time since they won the title back in 2013.
Correct.
Gary Swallow, Vermilion Catholic Screaming Eagles, back to the Superdome. Their ticket will be punched Friday night.
I think so also, Jordy. I'm with you. 100%. I mean, but I think it's going to be a good game. But excuse me, I think a little too much VC defense, and it's going to be they're going to be able, like fourth quarter, they're going to just
the way they
control it.
set the tone last week at Southern Lab.
Right.
First play of the game, pick 6. Boy, you can't start off any better.
Not at all.
And now you get a rockin' Screaming Eagles stadium for a semifinal atmosphere. You can't beat it.
And we've seen that stadium rocking. That stadium
It's
rocks.
not gonna be nothing like the semifinal.
Oh
environment,
no! But I'm gonna tell you right, and it's when you say it ain't nothing gonna be like, you right, because whenever we saw it, it was rocking, and that was week 9. Yeah, that was wow. So look out.
All right, you take a look at who will meet up at the bottom of the bracket. This is a rematch of last year's playoff game with Ouachita Christian and Ascension Catholic.
Right.
Ascension Catholic, we saw Ascension Catholic back in the Dome a few years prior when they played LCA before LCA went on their streak. That was LCA's first ever
Correct.
trip. That's the last time I think they've been. It's
Right.
a tall task to go down and knock off OCS, Gary.
Right.
Because you look at OCS, they won their 29th straight home game this past Friday.
Correct.
Wow. You know what they're due over there? Year in and year out, they're in the conversation to be playing in the Big Easy.
Ouachita Christian is, basically a smaller version of what John Curtis and Evangel used to be, back in the day. Ouachita Christian is not that old of a school. I mean, it's been around for a little while, but I mean, it's not near as old as these others that we're talking about. But I think Ouachita Christian has created something special in North Louisiana. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see anybody beating them. As much as I like Ascension, Ouachita Christian is a machine right now.
We talked about that Glenbrook football team. A 2-point conversion try last week. They tried to knock off Ouachita Christian, and it stuffed them on the 2-point conversion. They're back in the semis.
Right.
How about that Glenbrook football team?
But I'm gonna tell you, that's to me.
They're going to be around for a lot of years, making.
Right, and they're so young. They are second year?
I believe so.
Okay, they're so young, but Jordy, to go for it.
You got to.
You're on the road and everything, and just to say, look, let's do it and go for it. And yes, Ouachita Christian, they stood up. They defended their home turf. Okay?
The game comes down to one play.
Yeah, they defended their home turf. And I'm going to be honest with you. Glenbrook, I'll tell you, to me, was good enough team to go out there and do it. But Ouachita Christian stood up to it and said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So I think Ouachita Christian is going to win. I think it's going to be... I'm not giving a score, but I think Ouachita Christian is just going to be too much.
Yeah, I agree. Ouachita Christian and Vermilion Catholic setting up a really fun,
awesome finals.
Intriguing matchup in the finals.
This is going to be one of the, everybody says, we talk about it all the time. Is that, man, when you have a game like this, that's going to be far worse. To me, two of the best teams, because both of these teams were in my semis.
I had Vermilion Catholic and Glenbrook in the finals, but Vermilion Catholic and Ouachita Christian, that was right there also. So
it's crazy. That's why we play.
But St. Martin's and Ascension Catholic could also play each other next week.
Correct.
You got to play the game Friday night.
Right. That's why you gotta hope that there's no injuries and no.
I think
mistakes.
we're going to avoid bad weather this week.
No, the weather should be okay, but we still gotta wait. Mother Nature may turn its course. Can't never tell.
We go to Division III Select, my friend.
Yes, sir.
You take a look at it.
Man.
A lot of people said ULAB as an 8 seed just didn't make any sense, and we agreed with them.
Yes, most definitely.
That football team is a top 4 team in a lot of playoff brackets.
Right.
So you look at it, and you look at ULAB. They go on, they knock off Newman last week. A lot of people picked that game, and they didn't really call it an upset.
No.
Because they thought 8 seed was the better football team.
Right.
So now ULAB, they got to regroup and get ready for a Dunham football team that has been just doing their thing all football season.
Well, we talked about this whenever they came out with ULAB as number 8. First of all, the defending state champions, and you got them at number 8. Ooh, that made me kind of go, I don't know about that.
Somebody's going to be in the arena weekend
yeah, you're right.
somewhere down the road.
And they've done everything that they needed to do to just come by. I mean, they've basically dominated both of their opponents. Newman, they pretty much handled them easily.
Yep.
So Dunham,
I don't know what to think about this matchup. Dunham, they talked about the quarterback.
Correct.
Earlier in the season, does he have enough with a defense like ULAB, man? I don't know.
Well, their offensive scoring, they put up 50 plus on the first 2 games that they played.
And you got to
and they beat Calvary Baptist.
You got to win in a score fest with Calvary Baptist.
Oh, most definitely.
You know how good their offense is.
But how ULAB and Dunham, I think this is going to be an intriguing matchup.
Braden, what's your thoughts on ULAB Dunham?
Yes, that's going to be a very interesting pick. Personally, I gotta give the edge to ULAB. I mean, I'm sorry, they're the defending state champions. I gotta give that to them. But Dunham's playing, like I said, their offense is scoring, but can they score against?
Defense, huh?
Can they score against ULAB's defense?
I think they can, but I don't know how many they can.
Right.
ULAB really well coached football team. I think they get the win Friday night, and they'll get back in the dome. U-High, but close. Dunham Field is a mess. Will take away U-High speed, so no turf on Friday night.
That's right.
It's a field that's going to be weather played a factor earlier in the season. Less than 2 weeks with the rain. So,
I understand that, yeah. And that could be a turning point right there. That could be one of the main things that costs them. But I'm still giving the edge to ULAB.
Yeah, I like ULAB to get back to the dome in this matchup. Got to think those kids much rather be playing a state championship at New Orleans this year compared to UL last year.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Notre Dame, St. Charles, Pios and Comets. They meet once again, Gary Swallow. To be the champ, you got to go dethrone the champ right before you can even get to that picture. So Notre Dame, we know how well they've played over the season. They've knocked off some tall tasks. They knocked off some big names throughout the journey. They got another big name in store this Friday night, Gary Swallow. It won't be easy.
No.
St. Charles, that's a good football team.
Yeah, most definitely. You got to look at the road. Notre Dame, they beat Lake Charles College Prep by 1 point. They go in there and they beat Episcopal. They shut out Episcopal, 47-0.
Yeah, a lot of people called for an upset in that one. I didn't see it, that. And rightfully so, Notre Dame dominated.
Right. And then you have St. Charles that basically they've been scoring 40-plus points, in the last 2 weeks. Can the Pios control that, stop that offense? And can the Pios score against St. Charles' defense?
The Pios are going to want to keep the football as long as possible.
Oh, most definitely. They're gonna have a ball control offense. Louis Cook's going to keep everybody, in
just
line.
Win the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
But you got to make a pick.
Right.
Does the Pios get back to the dome, Gary?
Oh, God. They're playing at St. Charles. I got to give the edge. And I'm sorry, Louis. I love the Pios, but I got to go with St. Charles.
Gary, I agree here.
Little edge.
I think St. Charles wins this game, and it sets up. Listen to this now. You don't often get this. State champion versus state champion next week.
I see it.
ULAB, St. Charles, two teams that won the title last year. To be the new champ.
You got to beat the old champ. One of the old champs.
Champ versus champ next week if they both win.
If they both win, that's it.
I'm here for it.
I'd love to see it.
All right. We are heading to Division II selects. Division II select, my friend.
Got it.
I don't know. I think I'm missing a page.
Shouldn't. I made them all.
There we go.
There you go. Okay.
Are you battling a sinus infection? You just
you do what you gotta do.
You're just losing it tonight.
Oh, we good.
All right, my friend. It's got 3 locals in this bracket.
You're right.
So you got Edie White and St. Thomas More will kick us off here.
Right.
Cougar Stadium, one of the tougher environments to play in the state of Louisiana. Hard to go win a game at Cougar Stadium.
You're right.
Edie White, tough task because we know how good and potent that offense is from the Cougars. They run it well and they run it efficiency. And St. Thomas More, back to the state title game, Gary. Yeah. Last year they saw their season end earlier than expected.
Right.
They can get back. Could it be because of their home, or could it be because their offense is just that good?
I think their offense is good, really good. But you got an Edie White team that's been fishing. The last few years they've been close, but they couldn't get over that hump.
Yeah, but they're giving up points.
Yeah,
they gave up 29 to Evangel, 20 to John F. Kennedy.
Right.
If they get into a score fest with St. Thomas More, I don't like their chances.
No, St. Thomas More wins going away, I think. If their defense can slow them down, they have a chance. They have a chance.
If this game was at Edie White, I could see a defensive game But this game's at Cougar Stadium. I think it's going to be an
Right.
offensive explosion.
That's, to me, this is what's given St. Thomas More the edge. Home field advantage with that stadium rocking, and their offense just hitting on all cylinders. When we leave the games, most of the time we're listening to radio and they're talking about that St. Thomas More team.
And they didn't shy away from big name
No.
opponents this year. We
No.
saw them play Brother Martin.
Right.
We saw them play Catholic BR.
Correct.
We saw them play their district opponents.
Right.
So
Now, I got to give the edge to St. Thomas More, but I think E.D. White is going to make it interesting. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is my opinion. E.D. White is playing for a purpose. They want to get to the Dome. I mean, I remember when Port Barry had to play them. We were in the same district and play them in playoffs. They're hungry.
Yeah.
You know, I said this about another team. They're hungry for success. This could go the other direction, but I think the home field
Gary,
and that offense, I don't see it.
St. Thomas More sets up a all Lafayette State Championship.
Right.
Gary,
I mean-
St. Thomas More wins this football game.
I think so too. I'll be honest. That's why I'm picking them. But like I said, I think E.D. White makes it close. But I think the firepower from St. Thomas More is going to pull away at the end.
I'm rolling with STM also because I want to see that all Lafayette showdown.
That would be, boy, that's going to be. I said, shut Lafayette down. They're all in New Orleans.
And what day will this be? And what time? Is this the Friday slate?
This
Or
is on.
Is this the Saturday slate? I don't have.
I don't have that in front of me, but I mean,
It's
it says
right-
finals 8 to the 10th, depending on that. I'm not really sure.
I have it right here somewhere.
I think isn't it Friday? I think this one's Friday.
Here it is. Okay, we doing that's Division 2 Select, correct?
Division 2 Select, yes sir.
Friday, December 9th at noon. So they're gonna kick
They're
off.
going to kick off the day. Yeah,
Okay, so hey, good
that would be
football
awesome.
there.
Yes.
All right,
The
moving
11.
along. Who will represent out the bottom of the bracket? We already said it. We got.
Flip the coin, buddy.
We already said it. We got one local that
Right.
will guaranteed to be there at the Dome next week.
That's them.
It's the I-10 rematch. That's what they're calling it.
Mhm.
They're making it out to be a big game, and it is a big game.
Right.
LCA Turlings, first time they met, it came down to the wire, 4th and 10, throw a heave, don't let nobody get behind you, touchdown, Rebels.
Right.
And the rest was history.
Correct.
Turlings, best season in school history.
Correct. And you got
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Turlings trying to get to the Superdome for the first time in school history? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And you look at LCA, they're trying to make it. What is it?
right
7? No.
6, 7
They're trying to make it 6 straight trip to the
to the
title
finals.
game.
Right.
So is one trying to get there for the first time, and is one trying to make it 6 in a row?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if Turlings ever won a state championship in football.
Or even got there?
Or
That's,
even
that's
got
my
there.
question.
That's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I think Turlings has what it takes to win. They do because they proved it. They proved it on LCA's field.
They went to
to the
Knight
ninth field and won.
That's not an easy place to win at.
But can you do it twice in 1 year?
Or to beat somebody twice.
I'm going with Lafayette Christian in a close one.
LCA in a close one, Gary. Okay. Gary, the rematch is set. Jawan Johnson might go crazy Friday nights. This young man is special, and you got to think everybody in that locker room has this one circled and has been waiting
For the opportunity.
for a rematch after the way that game ended. I think revenge is sweet on LCA's side. Lafayette Christian wins a shootout close one.
Right. Now, I will tell you,
What?
and I have to say this. I wish both of these teams the
Yes.
best of luck. I would be just as happy with Turlings going to the Dome as I am with Lafayette Christian, but we have to pick. But I'm gonna tell you right now, no matter who wins this game, I'm gonna be behind them 100%.
Either way, next week we'll see you in the Dome.
Right.
And
it's gonna be hopefully all Lafayette.
yeah.
If
But Turlings, they got the football team to win this football game.
They do. Turlings have the capability. They proved it. But can they do it twice in a year? That's the $1 million question.
Does the LCA team that dropped 70 last year show up?
That's the key.
I mean, 70 last week show up this week?
That's what I'm saying.
That's scary if they do. Play the game.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Turlings has artificial turf too, right?
Turf, and they're playing at home.
And blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's not that far. They're really not far from each other. I don't know. It's amazing. So you're gonna have a crowd for both teams there.
That is the game of the week, and probably the game of the playoffs around here locally.
Most definitely.
All right, we take a look at Division I Select now.
Yeah, buddy. Man.
Oh, baby.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow, because, man, it's like...
Yeah, I saw that, Mr. Brady.
You can't... Man, you can't get... You can't get any more competitive than these two games. I'm sorry. To me, this is
Gary, if I told you
awesome.
8 versus 13 in the semifinals,
I'd have never believed it.
You can't script that
No.
at the beginning of the playoffs.
No, not at all. But, look at this. You have a team that moves up and plays, I guess you'd say, I don't know if you'd say a tougher schedule, but they did play a good schedule. And they up for all cylinders, hitting on all cylinders at the right time. Man, going against another team that 13 seed. First of all, how can you put them as a 13 seed?
Gary,
wow.
How do you write this and say somebody is in the writing room right now directing this movie for the quarterback at Karen Crow?
Correct. Why?
Last year, Karen Crow brother Martin, quarterback got injured. It ended his season.
Right.
And then you gonna tell me he has a chance to get his redemption story at home against the team that he went down with an injury to, and with a shot to go to the state championship on the line?
Yeah.
You cannot write a better finish for that young man if he goes full circle and sends Karen Crow to the Dome.
Correct. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that team right there, Karen Crow, is going to be so hot. The open air Crow Dome is going to be vibrating, baby. It's going to be moving.
How they say that? Fear the horn.
Oh yeah, look out! It's going to be loud.
That's a big stadium too.
That
so
is.
They could be.
We've been there quite a few times.
We're gonna have a lot of people come and support that football team Friday night. Brother Martin last year, they came down 4 charter buses strong, and they brought a big crowd, so you know they're coming.
But man, I'm gonna be honest. I think Brother Martin's got a good team, but man, can you beat the Crow? Barring injury, Karen Crow's going to do it, and Karen Crow is going to be in the Dome.
Karen Crow to the Dome. It just didn't feel right seeing Karen Crow in Natchitoches back in 2020. Right. You just wanted to see that football team play in the Dome.
Right.
And Gary,
I think
2 years later, they have another shot.
Right. And I think they're going to. I'm picking them.
Friday night.
Bears go to the Dome.
Friday night, the revenge tour. The final chapter of that young man's comeback story. He gets to check off that box of beating the team he went down in injury with, and Karen Crow goes to the Dome.
Correct. I'm with you. I think they're going to do it. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be
a four-quarter
wild one, like you say. Barring an injury. We've seen what injuries do. Barring an injury, barring something stupid, freaky, I think Karen Crow is going to punch their ticket.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Yes, they gotta have a tough task. If this game was in Brother Martin, I would be probably leaning another way.
Right, but this is right down the street.
But Karen Crow, they just riding that high right now, man. Will they beat Brother Martin on Friday? they have a chance.
Right.
Will Brother Morton come in and beat Karen Crow? It's a really good possibility. Gary, it's hard to not think that at the bottom of this bracket that this could be your state champion.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's hard. We said it. We said the Catholic of BR Edna Core matchup was the state championship game.
Right.
Now Catholic of BR and John Curtis meet in the semifinals, and David Semino gets a crack at JT Curtis with the right to go to the Dome. Boy, that just sounds right, huh?
Jordy, this is a marquee matchup.
It's a big one.
This is a marquee matchup. John Curtis, with the tradition and the championships under their belt, are going against Catholic of Baton Rouge, which is the team of the present. They are the dominant team that we've talked about all year. This team here is got the. They're gonna. This is the team of the future if things keep going right. Because I'm gonna tell you, they are good right now. So God, man, because Curtis has beat some teams.
Yeah, they come down earlier this year, and they put it on to Acadiana.
Yeah, they sure did. They put it on there. You have in the playoffs, they beat Jesuit, who is a defending state champion. Although they're not as good this year as they were last year, they beat Bird.
And they just steamrolled.
They just steamrolled through, and then you got Catholic of Baton Rouge that basically they beat Rummel. They beat Edna Carr. And when you beat Edna Carr, now don't get me wrong, I mean, it was close. But you're beating Edna Carr.
Yeah.
And they're going in there. So now they're playing against John Curtis and Catholic of Baton Rouge. I got to give the edge to Catholic of Baton Rouge because it's at home. Although Curtis is used to playing on the road. They don't have a problem with that. But I got to give it to Catholic of BR hitting on all cylinders. I think they're going to beat Curtis. And I think there's going to be a Catholic and Karen Crow state championship.
They look like the most complete team in the state of Louisiana. And they look like the best team in the state of Louisiana. Catholic of BR trying to go repeat. And I think they get back to the Superdome right there in Baton Rouge.
Right.
So can you see a Baton Rouge versus Karen Crow matchup for the state championship?
I could see it.
When you get in the dome, anything's possible.
Right.
So you roll your sleeves up and you made the best man win in that situation. But before we get there, JT Curtis taking his crew down to Baton Rouge and battle the Bears this Friday night. Should be a great matchup.
JT Curtis, and you can say with that, his teams are used to playing in the dome. I mean, when you have 26 or whatever, however many state championships, how, your team expects to be there.
Uh-oh. Corey Brody. Checking into the chat.
Yeah.
Kaplan's head football coach.
Uh-huh.
He says, take out the biggest loan you can and put it on the Vermilion Catholic Eagles this week to make it the state's biggest lock of the week.
Whoa, go ahead. I like that.
Come on now. Hello. Can Curtis guard Sampson from Catholic BR? No one has yet this season, and I don't think no one will the remainder of the way.
I gotta agree with that. I mean, I think it's going to be. There's to me,
football's fun.
Catholic of Baton Rouge and Karen Crow have the best opportunity to be in the dome, and that's my picks. I may be wrong because I'm human, and I'm normal, and sometimes I make mistakes.
You sure about that?
Yeah, sometimes. But man, I think it's going to be a great weekend, and those are going to be two very, very awesome ball games.
Alrighty, moving along to Division 4. Oh no, Division. Let's go Division 1.
You want to go Division 1?
Let's go Division 1 public.
Okay, hold on. Gotta get my papers right.
So I have to find it because I feel like a terrible husband right now.
Holly.
I have to make sure that I did not miss her lock of the week. while you talk some football there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Jordy, you going Division One? We want to go Division One, non-select. Okay, this bracket right here has four of the best teams in the state that are left, and you have a defending state champion that's trying to come in and throw even a bigger monkey wrench in it than normal.
That's
Our defending champion Westgate is going to be.
She told me to go Vermilion Catholic over St. Martin's. I wanted to make sure she didn't pick them earlier this year, and she didn't.
Okay.
So Holly's Lock of the Week, VC over St. Martin's.
So go ahead. Holly got a good pick because I agree with her on that.
I forgot to announce that one.
All right, that's fine. But man, this Division One non-select has four of the best teams that I've seen in the state all year. And you have the defending state champions in Westgate that are actually going in there to try to get back to the Dome.
Keep on going.
Yeah, and you
got the defending state champs of Zachary trying to get to the Dome also.
Right, and I'm talking the bottom first. I was looking at that. And you got an undefeated, quiet Destrehan team.
You just do things the right way over there.
And then you got Ruston, who is destined. And then you have Zachary, the defending champions, that want to go back and repeat. So, man, you got two state champions right here that may be destined to play a champion versus champion match. But then you got Zachary, who is a former champion that wants to get back, and you got Destrehan that I'm not sure if Destrehan ever won. I'm not really sure. But
I know we've seen them in the title game a couple times.
Yeah, but I don't know if they've ever won. But guess what? They want to get back there too. So, man, what do you do?
Gary, Big Ruston ain't been in this position since 1999.
Right.
Back in week 5, week 6, what I said.
Yeah.
What I said, Gary. Back in week 6,
you said
I have Ruston in the state championship game.
You said it from the beginning. Ruston's in the championship game, and I'll be honest with you. To me,
do you rethink that now that Zachary comes into town? Because that's a long ways away from back in week 6.
But let me tell you something though, Zachary and Ruston,
man, you're gonna have to watch this game in person.
Yes.
I heard they sold out of the seating of reserves.
Right.
And they only got general admission remaining.
Right.
So the amount of people that will be at that football game
it's going to be standing room only. I mean, when we went watch,
stadium
went watch. I don't remember. This was years ago. When we went watch Acadiana. We were standing.
They wasn't at their stadium that night when we watch Acadiana and Ruston. They were at Grambling that night.
No, this wasn't here. I'm talking about. It wasn't Acadiana.
I think it was not Grambling. What states up they played at that night?
That's Grambling.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one. No, I'm talking about this was in the state playoffs where we went watch, and I don't even know if you were there. I think I was by myself. And it was standing room only, and we were standing shoulder to shoulder, and everybody was around the stadium. And it was just so amazing to see that. And like I said, when I say standing room only, I'm talking 4 or 5 people deep, maybe more. And I was lucky enough to get next to the fence where I could have a clear view of the game. This was years ago. But, man.
So are they destined to get to the state title game even though Zachary stands in their way? Yes or no? Who wins this football game?
Man, I got to give it to Ruston. I'm sorry. As much as I want to pick Zachary. I think
a local.
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying. As much as I want to pick Zachary, I think Ruston is destined to go to the Dome. I think they've been destined for a while, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I think they're clicking. So give me Ruston.
Gary, they've been all in on this football game. They've been all in on this football season to get there. Now they have an opportunity. Mm-hmm. You go take down the defending state champs. You punch your ticket at home. It's been since 1999. Fireworks are in store
Correct.
at Ruston Friday night. Give me Ruston at home.
I agree. Now this next one's gonna be difficult, but
shout out to Mr. Jeff Williams down there at Ruston, checking into the chat tonight. Hello, my friend, Mr. Jeff. He used to come down, and he was the guy that was with LCA over those couple years. Now he's in Ruston. Shout out to Mr. Jeff up north at Ruston. Hopefully, we get to meet up with you at the Dome next week.
Correct. I would love to see that. That would be great.
All right, Gary, undefeated Destrehan comes in as the 3 seed, and they're going to have a date with the defending state champs, Westgate, as a 10 seed. We know Westgate was in 4A last year,
right?
So they weren't the 5A champion,
right?
So they move up, but they're right back into the picture. They took down Neville last week. It was a rainy night. Had a late touchdown that put the game away. So in this matchup, a lot of things going to have to go right in order for Westgate to go down there and knock off Destrehan. But they got a really damn good shot to go do it.
Right. I mean, East St. John gave Destrehan all they wanted. 21-20. Man, like I said, I think Westgate can do this, but
I don't even know who's commenting right now. As under the lights.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. The issue that I think home field advantage is going to give Destrehan a little edge. Westgate's going to have to travel all the way out there, and
talk to me.
I think this is going to be this could well be another 21-20 ball game, but I'm going to give the edge to Destrehan because they're at home.
Gary, last year we paid the ultimate price when we picked against Westgate in the semifinals.
And that's why I'm picking against them right now. Maybe they'll win.
Gary, 2 years in a row, I'm not making that same mistake. I'm all on board with Westgate, and I think they get back to the state title game and punch their ticket as another local for us.
I honestly hope so, because I look, my heart is always with the locals first.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta look at it. Destrehan's playing some good ball. They playing. This is by far one of the best years that they've ever had.
I mean, they get there time in and time again, but finishing the deal.
Yeah.
Can they finish?
Well, this is the way to find out. We're going to see.
Somebody said Destrehan's secondary, really good.
Yeah.
Somebody said Westgate's receivers,
really good. Right.
Hey, semifinal football at its best.
That's right. Play the game, Jordy. That's why they play the game.
And if you got Zachary Westgate, that's a Baton Rouge, New Iberia showdown, right?
That's right. You're right. Most definitely. Ooh, this is a good one.
337 versus everybody, Mr. Ray says.
All right.
We in Division 2 non-select?
Yeah. Division 2 non-select, Jordy.
All right, my friend. We got Iowa and North DeSoto. 2 teams making their first ever appearance to the semifinals.
Correct.
You take a look at it, this one of these teams will get to see the bright lights of the Superdome for the very first time.
Right.
You know this matchup means so much to them and so much to their communities and to their school base. So it's going to be an emotional night for somebody, and it's going to be a heartbreaking night for another.
Correct. You got North DeSoto has been scoring some points, Jordy.
A lot of points,
They've been
Gary.
scoring a lot of points. And you got Iowa's, their defense has been pretty stout. I mean, they held Abbeville in check, and that was honestly, that was one pass away from being a flip-flop, an upset right there. Leesville, that
got their revenge.
That was a rematch because Leesville beat Iowa earlier, and then this was their rematch, and they ended up doing it. But
it looked like they got their offense back on board in the quarterfinals, because we saw it only score 2 touchdowns and a field goal against Abbeville.
Correct.
So when we talked to Coach afterwards, he said it wasn't our best night.
Right. Most definitely.
But you got a North DeSoto football team coming in that likes to score and score often.
Right.
Will this be what sends Iowa home?
Can Iowa's defense control that offense? That's the thing.
I don't know.
You know, you've seen them live, and you know, on a couple of occasions, and then I had the chance to see them. But when you see a North DeSoto team coming in that's clicking on all cylinders, the key is that you have to stop them. You have to control the offense. And North DeSoto scoring some points. I mean, they scored. Just looking at this, they scored 33 the first
it's what
game and 42.
It's what they've done during the regular season.
And that's what I'm
the
saying.
points they scored.
But they've been scoring. That's going to be the $1 million question.
So who you like?
Man, but just something. I like Iowa. Man. I think North DeSoto is good, but there's just something about that team.
So out of all of our helmets,
right,
this middle section are the last four helmets we have remaining in the playoffs. Manny, LCA, Iowa, and Oak Grove still battling. That's why they're in the middle. But you're saying Iowa at home. That's a tough
pick, but I'm going to go yes. I'm going to say Iowa at home.
Oh, Mr. Swallow. Mr. Ronald Young in the fourth quarter makes a big-time run, and the emotion from the crowd sends Iowa to their first ever state championship game. That's going to be a good football game to watch.
That is going to be a great ball game to watch. And, you know.
And North DeSoto could come in.
Oh, I think it could go either way.
And like you said, you like to flip a coin in these matchups. Well, may the best team win on Friday night.
Right. And like I said, we have to pick, and please don't be mad at us for this. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to be an awesome ball game, but I got to give Iowa the little edge.
You take a look at Lutcher and West Feliciana, two teams that have been playing for state titles. So you look at the different type of brackets here for the top and the bottom. Two teams trying to get there for the first time, two teams trying to get back. Lutcher, they won the title a few years ago. West Feliciana, they won the title a few years ago. Now they have to meet on Friday night at West Feliciana and go through each other to get back to the title game. This is a great matchup on paper. This is a great matchup on the field. This is two great coaching bases here.
Right.
And this is going to be a fun one. And whoever calls this game on VSN Friday night, they are sure in store for a memorable night.
Right. I'm going to tell you, Jordy, this is going to be an offensive explosion.
I agree.
Lutcher
got a really good quarterback.
Yeah, you got Lutcher's average. They scored over 40 points the first two games that they played. Actually,
first three rounds.
They scored over 40 points every game. Then you have West Feliciana, who got a bye, scored 55 the first round and 30 the second. So I think this is going to be which defense is going to show up and be able to slow the other one down?
Man, what a turnaround for West Feliciana. I watched them play, was it last year against Madison Prep? And this was not a semifinal football team last year, but a quick change.
Correct.
Of they just put it all together this season, and now look at them.
Right.
A game away.
Right. So you're looking, I'll be honest with you, like I said, which defense shows up? That's going to be the key. Which team can stop the other one? Because I'll be honest with you, they're going to score points. This may well be a 55 to 42 or 49 or whatever game by the end of the night. But I'm going to give the edge to West Feliciana.
West Feliciana at home, my friend.
That's right. West Feliciana at home.
I like that pick a lot, my friend. I think Lutcher's quarterback makes a play somewhere in the fourth quarter that could be the dagger.
It might be.
And Lutcher goes back to the dome.
Hey, that's a very big possibility, Jordan. And you know what? That's why they play the game, because we don't know. We're just guessing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I wish all 4 of these teams best of luck. And, the best team's going to win.
You'll have you'll have a familiar face versus an underdog next Friday night.
Most definitely.
Somebody that's never been there, somebody that's trying to win another one.
You're right.
Gotta love high school football.
Got to.
Division III non-select, ladies and gentlemen.
This one is going to be interesting, Jordy.
We talked about Manny and St. James earlier before round one happened. We said Manny St. James or Manny Avoyelles. That was what was going to happen. We penciled Manny in.
Mm-hmm.
We never knew Rose Pond was going to take them down on the ropes Friday night
Right.
and almost take down Manny. 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter. Manny's streak of 7 in a row continues.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a tough task, and they got to take on St. James. When we talked about this, Gary, I put Tackett Curtis and Manny and Trey Holly and Union Parish in the finals back in round one.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're here in the semifinals, and now you got to reevaluate how the teams have been playing, who's hot, who's not,
Mm-hmm.
who's injured, who's healthy. You got to take all that in perspective, and you also got to look at where the game is being played.
Right. But you got to also look, I mean, and I'm going to tell you, that Manny Rose Pine game really, really shocked me because I didn't think Rose Pine was that good, but I knew they were good, but I didn't think they were that good.
To shut them down for 3.5 quarters.
Right. But then you have St. James. I'm sorry, you can say what they want, but I mean they dominated Laurelville. I don't want to say humiliated, but they put a whooping on Avoyelles. Attaboys, yeah. They pretty much doubled them up. They basically did that, and that's a hard thing to do. But
Manny's got a couple of guys in that secondary that are going to play college football.
Correct. Yes.
St. James, they got an offense that's out of this world.
Right.
That's going to score points. Now you look at it. Can Manny keep the ball away from St. James? I think that's what the game plan is going to be Friday.
That's got to be the game plan because St. James is going to throw.
They're just going to pound it and try to win the time of possession on Friday night,
right,
and feed off the home crowd and get a couple turnovers.
Correct. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think, man, my old saying, beat a champ, you got to beat the champ. Manny is experienced, and I think Manny is going to do it. I think it's going to be Manny in the finals, and I look forward to seeing them.
Gary, I had Manny in the finals for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
All the way leading up to this week, and then semifinal week, I got to roll with the hot team. I'm rolling with St. James to get to the state title game and a thriller of a win down there in Manny Friday night.
It can happen, man. It can happen very easily. So look out. I think it's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be one of the best games around. But it's in Manny. I think that's going to be the deciding factor.
Yep. So Manny, St. James, good old football there.
Mm-hmm.
How about your next matchup? Union Parish and A-Meet. A-Meet, state champs last year.
Right.
Trey Holly and that former football team,
mm-hmm,
you know that they have one goal in mind.
Right.
They've got there, and they just can't finish the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do they slip up in the semis and not even get another chance at it? Or do they take care of business at home and give that senior class one more shot to bring the state title home?
The A-Meet Warriors have scored 40-plus points in every game all the way through to this one.
No, 30-plus.
Okay, is it 30-plus?
Your eyes are bad.
They got 54.
A-Meet has scored 40-plus.
That's what I said.
So when
is that what I said?
Yes, when A-Meet gets hot in the playoffs, watch out.
The A-Meet Warriors have scored 54, 46, and 42 up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going against a Union Parish team that had a bye the first round. They scored 34 against Sterlington. They scored 38 against Patterson.
Let's throw Trey Holly out of the equation here. You look at Union Parish's defense.
Right.
14 and 14.
Correct.
They've given up the last 2 weeks. So that speaks volumes.
Right.
Now their secondary will be tested this week whenever A-Meet comes in with their air raid attack.
Well, and that's my point. Can Union Parish's defense slow down that air raid? That's going to be the point.
We go back to the Manny game for a second. We said Manny's game plan could be ground control and keep the ball. This could be Union Parish's game plan. They could play that style of football where, all right, we're going to line up, we're going to run it right at you, and we're just going to keep it away from your offense.
Right. And, the thing about it is, can Amite stop Union Parish's run game? I'm sorry. Trey Holly is a special player.
Amite's front seven last year at the state championship. Wow, what a showing.
I know it.
Can they have another showing in the semifinals like they did last year?
Right.
They lost some big pieces there, but they got some big pieces back.
They've given up 14 to Berwick, 12 to Gina, and they shut out Rabel. So their defense is stout.
So this is actually another state championship caliber game.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I'm sorry, I got to pick Union Parish. I'm going with them. But man, I don't like to pick against Amite because I think they're a good ball club. But I got to give the edge to Union.
I've been all on board with Union Parish since the beginning of the season. That senior class, this is their last shot at it.
This is it.
So Union Parish at home, Trey Holly, another big night.
Yes, I think so.
Final one, my friend.
Man, one more to go, buddy.
One more. It's a rematch in Division 4 non-select. Oak Grove and Haynesville meets again. Haynesville had the better of this matchup in the regular season. You know Oak Grove itching for a rematch. Haynesville, they get them at their home stadium. These two teams all too familiar with playing for a state title. You look at the banners from each team, and they're all over the stadium.
You're right.
Haynesville, Oak Grove, one more time for the right to head to New Orleans. Haynesville, Oak Grove, who you got?
Man,
remember,
I know. To me,
who's playing the best late, and also Haynesville won this matchup in the regular season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close ball game, but I think that they're clicking right now. I mean, they're scoring points. They're really doing what they have to do. So I'm going to give Haynesville the edge in a close ball game.
Okay. You take a look at this. Oak Grove, big win at Welsh. It was a lopsided game. We didn't expect that. And then they go knock off number 1 last week. So you got to think their confidence level is up right now.
Most definitely.
You got to think Haynesville's confidence level is up right now. And two teams just want to get the game going Friday night because somebody's going to be partying in New Orleans.
Right. This may be whoever has the ball last.
Could be. Two teams that like to run it at you, smash mouth football. Haynesville got a good one with number 4 in the backfield.
Most definitely.
Man, you're going to take 3 or 4 guys to tackle him. Will number 3 make a presence like he did at Basile Friday night?
Right.
Oak Grove wins a close one Friday night, Gary.
Hey.
You got Haynesville, I got Oak Grove.
We'll split.
Let's
go. And it could go either way. Good luck to everybody.
And this next one could go either way also.
You're right. You are 100% right.
Your defending state champs, Homer Pelicans, welcome in the Mangum Dragons for a much anticipated matchup that has been brewing since the playoff brackets have came out. Everybody has penciled in these two. They knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time before Mangum and Homer was on a collision course to clash on Friday night.
Jordy, have you looked at the points that both of these teams are putting up?
You talked about
this is
Hit it.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. You got, to me, this is going to be one of the best games, but I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be wide open.
You look at
God.
Homer's defense earlier in the year, and they only gave up 9 points to the powerhouse from Arkansas.
Right.
They shut down Trey Holly and kept him in check. Now they have another tough task Friday night when they welcome in Mangum's running back that has just put up, 40-something touchdowns this year. He's a special talent. You got to think they're gearing in to stop him. The game plan is going to be slow him down. Who else from Mangum could make a play or two and send their team to the Dome? That's going to be the question mark. Somebody else is going to have a moment in that game.
I think this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be this is going to probably be one of the highest scoring games of the weekend.
Could be.
But I think Homer's going to have the edge being at home, and they want to get back there quick, really bad to defend. But, man, this can go either way, but I got to pick Homer. I'm going to pick Homer.
Okay. You know what? We're going to have to split this one again.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Because I'm going to tell you, I think both of these teams can win. But I got to give the edge, just a little edge to Homer.
Shootout, and at the end, I think Mangum, if the running back's healthy, he might make a play where remember that old Puka Williams play against Acadiana.
I remember that. I was there.
He might have something in store like that, but great matchup between two great programs.
Jordy,
Homer, Mangum, that has state championship written all over it also. But you look at it, nobody has stopped that Mangum running back this year.
Can it be done? Can it be done? We don't know.
Homer's defense, they got a stingy, angry, downhill football team that can go get it done.
Right.
We'll see, though.
The key
if he runs wild Friday night,
it's going to be one side. Mangum's going to take it. I have a if they can't slow him down, it's going to be bad. I think Mangum's going to end up coming out. Yeah. But let me tell you something, Jordy.
And then Homer can dominate this game if they wanted to.
Right. I mean,
if they stop the run game and make Mangum try to beat them
in the air. Man, that's going to be.
This could get ugly.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is going to be a fun one to look at the scores.
Right.
Because it's going to change every few seconds, I think.
Right. I agree with you. But Jordy, look at this. We've come down to the semifinals. We've picked our games, and we still don't know who's going to win. Isn't that awesome?
Gary.
That's what high school football is all about.
32 teams are still standing. And Friday night, you cut that in half.
Right.
And 16 teams will head to the Superdome in New Orleans and play under the bright lights.
And you know what? Ain't nothing like walking to New Orleans, buddy. Or actually, hopefully in our case, we're driving. But man, nothing like going there. Our alma mater had a chance to go there twice. They won one and they lost one. And, I'm going to tell you.
Every year since what? 13 or 14, 2014?
At least.
We've been?
Yeah, somewhere like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I look forward to it every year. It's like
our tradition and our holiday.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Gary, we closed the door on week 14. And boy, is it sad to say.
I know.
But this is when the fun begins.
That's right. Look out. I don't know if we're planning on doing another one before the finals. But, hopefully next Wednesday we could have picked the final, the championship games and stuff. We might be able to do that. I don't know. It depends on our situation. But let me tell you something, Jordy. I want to tell you, this has been one of the most fun years that I've ever had working with you. And I want to thank you for letting me be a part of that. But this week is going to be so exciting to see who comes out on top with these games because it can go either way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Recap show will be fun Friday night.
Yeah.
It'll be a late one, so stay up late with us. Find out who punched their ticket to the big dance. Gary, let's close the door here and let's get on out of here.
Yes, sir.
Final thoughts as we head into week 14.
My final thoughts is very simple. Guys, thank you guys for a great year. Thank you guys for opening your hearts and opening your camera and or your phone to follow us, or your iPad or your smart TV, whatever you're watching us on. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes, come into your phone or whatever, and follow us all year. We do this, in fun, but we also do it because we enjoy interacting with all you guys. And I want to thank you for that. Seniors, there's not many teams left. Enjoy it. Take pride in it. Do your best. And like we say, leave it on the field, because not everybody's going to be playing at the next level. Just do what you got. Do what you got to do. Make it the best, and don't leave anything, behind. Do your best. Thanks.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, 14 weeks have come. And now, only the few are left standing. Tickets will be punched Friday night. Congratulations to those teams that will punch their tickets. Look forward to the recap show. Probably get a couple coaches to call into the show and talk about the emotion of that locker room.
Right.
And we'll just find out what happened around the state of Louisiana Friday night. We look forward to seeing you again. We do not have a game to broadcast this week, but it doesn't mean we're not going out and watching a football game. You can't just keep us on the couch.
No, we will be somewhere watching as a fan. And you know what? We look forward to supporting hopefully one of our locals around here where we're going to not be that far. But we're hoping that we have a great game to go watch, and then hopefully recap it. And then maybe next week we might be able to make some state championship picks.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in all year with us. Thanks for tuning in, like, sharing, and commenting tonight. We hope you had a happy holidays this past week as we head into December. How they said that? Now you head off to where contenders are born.
Correct.
We'll say good night. We'll see you later from myself and Mr. Gary Swallow. This has been another episode of Under the Lights, Week 14, semifinal edition. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you somewhere Friday night.
Yep. Later.